Greetings from Southern Yankee Homestead. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a returning viewer,
welcome back.
Hun's in a comfortable outfit today, so she's not going to be on camera. But today...
Oh, I'm not?
Well, you're bulky bare ass.
Not really, but okay.
Today we're going to be getting into replacing the carpeting in our living room. This is the original carpeting that came with the house. It is in pretty poor condition. I mean, it's got 6 years worth of use and it was the bottom of the barrel. You know, and the dogs had fun with it at one time, and yeah, had a litter of puppies on it. Actually 2 litters of puppies on it. So it's time to go ahead and replace it. We are not going to be replacing carpet though. We're going to be using a laminate flooring. For reference, this is the cheap laminate. It was not necessarily intentional, other than, well,
Like the design?
yeah, the design was the one we liked the most, and it just happened to be the cheapest. So under $500, I think, including backing. This doesn't come with backing, that's how inexpensive it is, but we got backing, so I think the first step, we need to do some demo. We're going to start with basically an arbitrary line from somewhere right around there, and we're going to cut this the whole way down to somewhere right in there. At that point, we're going to come back over here, and we're just going to peel the entire carpet up and roll it into a ball, and then around the door, we're going to cut it under the door and staple it. We also got to pull the vents, so let's get started. The battery was pretty much died on the camera, but I think you got the idea after a few minutes. We went through and pulled all the staples from around the edge. Now I'm going to go through and pull up the tack strips along the edge, and then we're going to come back around before I pull up these tack strips, and we're going to restaple and cut this linoleum off, as well as this linoleum. We don't want the transition there, because when we put the flooring in, it's going to create a little bit of a wave in it. So let me go ahead and start making some banging noises. This is going to be fighting me a while. You've seen the gist of it. Now I got to go through, pull more staples and more of the strips. Yay! After cussing my way through the last batch, I had a thought when I was pulling the staples. Why should I even bother pulling the staples? I have a flush cut trim router, and on this I have a carbide tip cutter. So we're going to just try to cut these strips out of here. If you haven't seen one of these yet, it's in the Harbor Freight Sawmill playlist, doing the track, extending the track. So let's see how this works. Could be loud, hon.
Okay.
That worked amazingly well.
Good.
Well, that was handy. We're all cleaned up again. Now for the fun part. Oh, crap. We're not done demolition yet. Still got to do the linoleum and the strips and stapling. Eventually, we will do something with the kitchen floor because, well, I don't think they used any glue to hold the linoleum down. We'll probably do something here as well, but for now, the linoleum's holding up. We're not going to change that. We're going to work around it. We might live to regret it, but for now, we're going to go ahead and cut the linoleum to shorten up distance a little, and then we're going to pull these strips out. I'll explain why. Good. Aww. It didn't pull up like I wanted. That's okay. Let's pull some more staples. All right, we got strip cut. We got the linoleum cut. Now we're going to go and pull these little strips off and the roofing nails that hold them down. And at that point, I think we'll be ready to start putting the underlayment on. Pretty sure. And with that, all the strips are up. Next thing, one final cleaning, vacuum everything up, and then it's time to start putting underlayment down. I guess we'll see you when we get to the underlayment, and possibly some Batman lights, because I think we're going to run out of daylight. Because just so you know, it's 10 minutes to 4, so the demolition phase of this has been, what did we start, around 11 o'clock on? 4 or 5 hours. Sorry about the light. It's a little dark, or getting dark in here. I guess probably ought to break out the Batman lights at some point. But we're ready for underlayment. And this is what we selected. Now, before I put this down, I want to put a couple of these down. Grab my knife. What I did there was I basically extended these lines out so that I can see where the edge of the vent is. I then pulled 3 inches, or more appropriately, with it in the edge at 3 inches. That way I know approximately where to cut. I actually need to come out just a little bit more because, well, the hole's not square. It's square-ish. But before I do that, I'm going to take this outside real quick and trim off this end because we're not going to need it.
Tell Papa bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, now he wants to talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Now he wants to talk. Alright.
Alright, there's a rough cutout of the opening. Next one will be easier, I swear. Here we go, let's see how we did. Need to get a bucket out here for the scraps. Let's really go. And for the register, before we put our screws in, we're actually going to pre-drill the holes because we don't want to screw it down to the flooring. So we're just going to lightly drill right through the flooring. There we go. Now, I think we get a couple more pieces slapped in here. At least, hopefully 2. Yeah. Ooh. Because that one is already cut. Then if I'm not mistaken, this one should get pretty close to finishing us out on this row. Oh, it will finish us out. Alright, let's go right about there. I think you get the idea at this point, so I'll be back when I get something more interesting. At this point I have a ghostly glow because I still have the lights set. But, working in the dark. Got this side all the way up to where we'll end up trimming it out. And I've got this side all the way up to where we're going to trim it out. What we're going to do next is lay the next layer of underlayment. I could do one more board, but at that point I'm going to be overlapping my sticky back piece for the moisture barrier. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and put the next layer down and continue on. It should start picking up speed here soon because instead of having to make 8 cuts for 2 boards, I'll be able to make, oh, I don't know, what, 2 cuts for 8 boards. We're on the next day, and well, the house is trashed right now because between, me doing the kitchen, or me doing the living room, yeah, between me doing the living room and the stuff that came off the garden, we need to go ahead and continue working on this even though it's raining, which is going to make it a little bit more of a challenge because I've got to go out to the garage for every cut. Is what it is. But up to this point on the floor, it's been pretty easy because we've had opening and opening on the ends to get the boards in. Well, now we're getting to the point that we're going to be hitting the wall, and we've already hit the wall here. So to get a little bit more space to make this a hair easier, I'm going to go ahead and remove the trim work on the bottom here. I was hoping to do this without doing the trim work, but I got realizing last night it's not gonna work. It would be too difficult to try to slide every board in and around and manipulate it the way it should be to get it to fit. So I'm just gonna do the next rational thing and pull the trim board off. Well, it's not the worst work I've ever seen done. Well, you can see where they put the patch panel in between the two chunks of the house. So since this is a modular house, this seam right here that runs all the way down through the middle is where the two halves of the house come together. And if you notice, there's a chunk of drywall right here, and it's off just a little bit of a space. So this space that it's off is actually how close they got the house when they put it in here, which is kind of interesting. At least I find it kind of interesting. If you don't, I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and cut that random chunk of linoleum that's running underneath the wall. And then we're going to continue on. But I also realized that this video could be excessively long, and we probably already have well over an hour and a half of footage to condense into a 10 or 15 minute video. So at this point, we're going to switch over to time lapse.